All these tax increases in the past to improve roadways and transportation have been wasted. Not a dime. If you drive down the street or drive down the freeway, you know what shape our roads are in. Okay, we've paid for the freeways time and time again, over and over again throughout our lives in higher taxes, and nothing's been done. So why would this be different? Well, we actually have an expert on with us. Spencer Chretien is the manager of state policy for Citizens Against Government Waste. Chretien, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Spencer. So this new polling comes out, and like I said, 51%, it's good. It shows that the majority of Californians polled are against the gas tax. But I just don't know why that isn't higher. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, that's a good question. I think you're going to have Tom Steyer spending a lot of money. You're going to have Governor Brown continue to demonize the issue. You're going to have probably Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein throw their resources into keeping the gas tax this high. So there will be a lot of money spent by the other side, and we'll see if the lead continues to hold or if it expands through November.
Yeah, I'm looking at the survey results now. Yeah, 38% of registered voters supported keeping the higher taxes. 9% hadn't heard enough about it to say either way, and 2% said they wouldn't vote on the measure to repeal. So, okay. Well, at least there's something, some poll that came out, and especially if you attach the LA Times to it, you got to say that it's certainly not a poll that is slanted to the right. And so there's got to be some legitimacy. But like I said, I'm shocked that it's only 51%, because if you get out and talk to folks, most of us drive, and many of us have to drive to work, and many, if not all of us, find ourselves on a Southern California freeway or roadway that's in disrepair almost daily, and we find ourselves spending more than any other state in the country on car repairs because of the poor roads. So I don't know how you can not know about this, but the biggest question is there anything in the law, and this is Senate Bill 1, that holds the California government to abiding by, spending the money on road repairs, or can it go to the crazy high-speed, low-speed train?
There is actually money set aside for other things. There's money for parks. There's money for things like biking and walking to work and trying to encourage that, incentivize that. There's $70 million set aside for the UC and Cal State systems for transportation research, whatever that is. I think some professors will be happy with that money. Yeah. So no, there's nothing. The bill does not all go towards road repairs, and given the history of gas tax diversions in California, there's no reason to expect that they would spend the money on only that.
Yeah, the annual income from this tax is $5.4 billion. And it's also one of those taxes, I believe it will go up, because isn't it tied to, I could be wrong in this, I thought it was tied to inflation, but again, I'm just reading the details, and I'm not sure that it is, but it's a lot of money that won't be going to fix the roads. And again, you mentioned it. It's the same history that we have to go on, and we're all familiar with the history. You have these outrageous taxes in California. We have the highest taxes in the nation, and it's bad enough that they were giving the money away because supposedly we already have a gas tax that's supposed to pay for the roads we did before this big increase. And nothing,
it's one of the highest in the country.
Yeah, and nothing gets done.
Right. And the state spends much more money than its neighbors on, per mile road maintenance and road construction.
Why is that?
California.
Do you know, Spencer, why we spend more?
One of the reasons is that you have a prevailing wage law. You have burdensome requirements on the contractors who build roads. So that drives up the costs. And then the environmental regulations are much more significant. Okay. There was some, I think, it's anywhere between 2.5 times as much as Arizona and Nevada to 4 times as much, depending on the year, per mile that California spends. So you're not getting a good bang for your buck anyway with with the gas tax that you already pay.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned this on the air, but I'll mention because I'll be talking about it later. My wife and I are moving to Florida, and we're doing it fairly soon. So we've been visiting the state quite a bit over the past few months, looking for houses and such. And the taxes there are relatively low, but the roads, the thing that you notice, well, first of all, you notice there's very, very little traffic at times when you would see the freeways packed here. But the other thing you notice is the roads are in good shape. No matter where you drive, you're not dodging or swerving to miss, potholes. And I know this isn't unique to Florida. I've seen it all over the place. I've seen it in Texas. I've seen it in Nevada. And I've seen it in other states. But California has a problem that they just don't keep up with the repairs. And of course, they have to spend more money on them because they have these burdensome regulations. It's nuts.
That's right. And you and your wife are among many people, thousands of people, about 1 million in net moves the last decade, I believe, out of California to states like Florida, Texas, Utah, Arizona, low tax states where people can retire there. They're not going to get priced out. California is basically, with all the taxes, as you well know, it's unaffordable for the middle class.
Well, that's the whole thing. And my wife and I, we've been talking to our friends. We always hear, why moving? California is a beautiful state. It is. It's a beautiful state. The weather's great. Everything else. We otherwise love California. We simply cannot afford to live here. And
right.
we're both in the working world and we make a decent living, but we just can't afford to the lifestyle here in California that we could in another state. And for us it's Florida, but for many people it's Nevada, Texas, wherever that you have lower taxes.
Right. And I think that's the attitude of a lot of California politicians. We have nice weather here. That's enough.
It's not enough.
And it's not enough.
Talk to people in businesses who are leaving. The weather ain't enough. There's nice weather in a lot of different places. And
that's right.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you talk about business. My wife and I have had a couple of businesses here, and it is very, very difficult to conduct business in the state of California because of the regulations. One of the businesses, I'll give you a quick example here, has to do with the roads. It was a limousine business. And we found that it took a year to get the necessary permits and everything else that was required by the state in order for us to have our business and to open the business. So it took a year. Another owner of another limousine service, a friend of a friend, was so tired of the regulations here, he moved to the Dallas area in Texas, and he was up and working within 2 weeks. All the permits, all the things, licenses he needed in 2 weeks. California took almost a year. And they wonder why businesses are leaving California. You can't. You just can't. It's crazy. And anyway, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm just.
Oh well, no. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no. But so what are the chances now we'll get this thing overturned? What's the latest on the effort to repeal?
Well, they have they're going to be turning in the signatures. I think it's usually in July when the actual language of the initiative is worded by the California Attorney General. I can't imagine it will have a favorable wording for our side.
Of course.
And then I think once all of the referendums are certified, it will be assigned a number. It'll be called Prop something. And then the campaigns will, I guess, formally begin at that time. And then after Labor Day, it'll get very intense, and you will have probably a lot of money spent by Tom Steyer and others. I think Governor Brown sees this as he's leaving office, and this is his legacy, and he needs to make sure that this tax increase stays, that it goes through. So he will be working pretty hard. And I think, the question for advocates of, wise stewardship of taxpayer dollars is we need to match we can't match their money, but we have to match their enthusiasm, and we have to get, you'll need some Democratic crossover votes in California, just the way the state votes these days.
Well, Democrats have to drive too, and they have to pay taxes. And this is one thing I can definitely see that you're going to be able to dip into both political parties for support. I just can't imagine this thing going on much longer in punishing You're punishing the working. You're punishing people who drive to work every day. That's who you're punishing.
Exactly. And, California's had taxpayer revolts before. It's had Prop 13. It's had the 2003 recall. So it can be done. It's certainly a winnable battle.
Thank you so much, Spencer Chretien, a manager for policy for Citizens Against Government Waste. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Rob, for having me.